more suffering. All hardships in life arise from greed and desire. The third realization is the awareness that living simply, having few desires, leads to peace, joy, and serenity. Living simply allows for more time and concentration to practice the way and to help others. The fourth realization is the awareness that only diligent effort leads to enlightenment. Laziness and indulging sensual desires are obstacles to practice. The fifth realization is the awareness that ignorance is the cause of the endless cycle of birth and death. You must always remember to listen and learn in order to develop your understanding and eloquence. The sixth realization is the awareness that poverty creates hatred and anger, which in turn creates a vicious cycle of negative thoughts and actions. Followers of the way, when practicing generosity, should consider everyone, friends and enemies alike, as equal, not condemning anyone's past wrongdoing or hating those who are presently causing a harm. The seventh realization is the awareness that although we dwell in the world to teach and assist others, we should not become caught up in worldly matters. One who leaves home to follow the way possesses only 3 robes and a bowl. They always live simply and look at all beings with the eyes of compassion. The 8th realization is that we do not practice for our individual enlightenment alone, but devote our whole being to guiding all others to the gates of enlightenment. Thank you. We will now continue to observe noble silence.
like to call our incense lighters up. If you'd like to follow along, we do our incense lighting gatha on page 2. And together we say, in gratitude, we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful efforts, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding, slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see a full house today. Welcome. If it's your first time, especially welcome. Coming back, welcome. I have a few announcements before we begin our chants. So, families with small children, we have an area for downstairs with plenty of toys, Legos, and everything. If you want to go downstairs at any point of the service, feel free to do so. And if you find the need to sit around somebody, if you don't mind adjusting seats, or if you feel if your legs start falling asleep or something on the cushions, there's a few more chairs open, but feel free to move your spots as you feel necessary. We ask that you don't walk in front of the dais. If you can just walk around. We have 2 bathrooms around the corner if you need to use them, and 1 downstairs. And then for the chanting, we chant in a medium upbeat tempo. Try to breathe together in unison with joy. So don't chant too loudly or too quietly. And if you don't feel comfortable chanting, you can just listen. So we will start with our 3 refuges, which are on page number 3. Thank you. Before we do that, let's greet each other. I always forget that. Just greet each other with a nice little bow. Welcome. All right. I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the 3 jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to practice mindful breathing and smiling, looking deeply into things. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to offer joy to 1 person in the morning and to help relieve the grief of 1 person in the afternoon. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. Turn to page 4. We have the Heart Sutra on 4 and 5. Dhamma Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra the Bodhisattva of great compassion from the deep practice of prajna, paramita, perceived the emptiness of all five skandhas and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness, no eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, nor extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna, paramita. Therefore the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance there is no fear. Away from all delusive views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in prajna, paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the prajna, paramita, is the great Dharani, the radiant, fearless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna, paramita. Gate, gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisvaha. Maha Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. Welcome again, everyone. It's good to see everyone. Before I get into my talk, I wanted to follow a tradition my teacher would do after the morning bell chant, not morning bell chant, but after our chanting of the Heart Sutra. Hung Su, my teacher, would explain a few things because it can be a little convoluted. Um, One thing I wanted to share is the person Shariputra. If you don't know who Shariputra was, he was the Buddha's most wise disciple. He knew everything, but his compassion wasn't so great. So the Bodhisattva of compassion is teaching him directly, which is also, when we're listening to it, it's helping us learn as well. So that's who Shariputra was. And then the very last phrase that we say, gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha, roughly translates to gone beyond the beyond. Woohoo! Like I said, rough translation. But basically, we're going through, and that's a little bit on the Heart Sutra. But my talk today, excuse me, is entitled Wherever I Go, There I Am. Wherever I went, there I was. This is my journey to here, where I'm sitting right now, which started almost 10 years ago. I was depressed. I feel like a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of similar stories I hear from people coming to Buddhism. They're either something is going on and they need help, and I needed help. I didn't want to do. I have to make a disclaimer. There's nothing wrong with medication, but personally, I didn't want to have to take medication. So I looked up alternatives, and meditation came up. And so I'm like, okay, meditation sounds pretty cool. I've heard about that before, but I don't know where to start. So I got this book, or I was looking up things, and it's Wherever You Go, There You Are by Jon Kabat-Zinn. And he is not, this book is not particularly Buddhist. He may be a Buddhist practitioner himself, but it's not, there's no denomination. It can be, whatever you practice, you can meditate. And, but he mentioned the backstory, the history of meditation, and Buddhism kept showing up. So I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. I've heard about Buddhism in high school. I know my first thought of Buddha was the laughing Buddha that you see over there, and the big Buddha with the belly. But that is only one of the Buddha's disciples, as I find out. The historical Buddha, Siddhartha, was actually pretty skinny, and he had like really like pokey hair. So it was like just learning a few things. And then I just remember one story, like all the way back in high school, where he was so emaciated at one point that he could touch his ribs through his stomach. And finding out later on that that was just the beginning of his leaving home and discovering aesthetic practices. Basically not eating and torturing yourself does not work. And so he found the middle way. And so as I was learning more, I went to a psychology class, not psychology, philosophy, learning about Eastern religion. And I was really interested in the Eastern side, but coming from a Christian background, which I still really appreciate the teachings of Jesus and to love your neighbor as yourself and all those teachings. But for me personally, I thought it was putting God in a box, putting religion in a box. So it wasn't something that I wanted to stick with. And when I found out about Buddhism and I looked up Buddhist temple near me on Google, and this place showed up. And I remember my first time coming in here, I think it was 2014. I didn't even know there was a back door, so I parked over there, but then I walked all the way over here. And Hung Su, my teacher, was the greeter at the time. He had a yellow saffron robes, And he approached me. He's like, just so you know, we don't worship the Buddha. And I'm like, I know a little bit. But I appreciated his welcoming energy. And when I came in here, I just felt like I was coming home. And it just was a very, like, it clicked. It all clicked. So I started practicing, started meditation, which was a little difficult for me. I'm someone who has ADHD, so I have a million thoughts. But learning that meditation is not, the goal is not to empty your mind. It's to just see what's, it's your awareness practice. Just see what arises. Label it thinking, come back to your breath. And anyone can do that. And so that was a little reassuring. And as I was continuing to practice, I discovered there was a preceptor program. And back in the day, we had to do like 3,000 prostrations, which are full body bows, write in a journal, a physical journal. Now we kind of digitalized it all. But I remember going through the steps, and I got almost there, and I dropped out. I have a history of alcoholism. I'm almost 7 years sober today. In January, I will be. But back then, I was not doing so great. And the fifth precept is about respecting and protecting your body and your mind. So alcohol or drugs, intoxicating yourself, is not protecting your mind, and it is for more or less not what we should be doing. And I had done that right before, and I just dropped out myself. I stopped coming for months. And I can't remember. I think it was just wanting to come back, feeling like I missed the place, and kind of just I left on my own accord. I wasn't kicked out or anything. And when I came back, I heard all the chants, and I just was weeping. I was crying. It was very emotional, but like something I had to get out, and it was very powerful. And just so happened, someone from we've had a recovery program here since we started, and I heard about them announcing it every week. But I'm like, I don't think I have a problem. That's what a lot of people with substance abuse say. They don't admit that they have a problem with whatever substance it is. And so someone from the recovery program was there, and I was talking to my teacher, Hung Soo, and he introduced me to him. His name was Lane, and he told me all about the recovery program. And we talked for like an hour at least in that little room over there. Before it was like a little meditation room. Now it's our tech room. But it was really great to hear somebody who's had the similar experience and could empathize. And then when I came to the recovery program for the first time, it was like, wow, a lot of people suffer from alcoholism and from addiction, and I'm not the only one, and I can talk about it openly. So that was really healing, and that really saved my life. So the following year, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do the precepts again. I took the precepts, and I received the name Juexin Su. Juexin is Chinese for determination. So my teacher said I have unadorned determination because I decided to keep coming back and to go through the precepts again. And so I feel really honored to have that name. Sometimes it's hard to pronounce. And the other week, I want to say, someone had made a joke, and I feel like I might run with this joke, but my name is Shane, and they're like, well, what if it was Juexin? And I thought that was pretty fun. So I might just, you can call me Shane, Juexin. I go by either. So doing the precepts, going on the, and you don't have to take on the precepts, or what we like to say, receiving the gift of the precepts, because it's like a gift. But it's not like you have to do this like step by step in order to be a Buddhist. In order to like be a part of the board, that's one of the requisites. But there's nothing that's like forced upon, and I really appreciate that like open energy here. And so I kept coming back, and then when I heard about the Bodhisattva vows, which I wrote a little paper on for all kinds of papers over here. So the first time I ever heard the Bodhisattva way, it reawakened something inside me, and it was very inspiring. And when I was young, I remember caring greatly for others and the environment, wanting to pick up trash and everything like that. And somewhere down the line, delusions and ignorance took root, and now I wanted to formally take on these commitments in front of the loving Sangha, and be held accountable for my actions throughout this life and the next. And then I picked a few of the vows that really meant a lot to me. And one is 111. This is from Shantideva's book, The Way of the Bodhisattva. Be the first to act, taking the lead in good karmic deeds, speaking with smooth and sublime words, being skillful in discourse, guided by right intention, and having no one above or below to whom gifts are not given. And that spoke to me. The right intention, I think I kept hearing intention. Nothing in this practice is black and white. Nothing in life is really black and white. There's so many variables, so many gray areas. And one of the things I kept hearing is like, what are your intentions behind these actions? Are they to be a benefit, or are they to be a little? Or are they a little diluted? Or are you trying to use things for your own advantage? So the actions you take, the intention behind them is very important. And so taking on these precepts and these bodhisattva vows, I think prayer, Shantideva's prayer that like really again spoke to me, I'd like to share with you all. May I become at all times, both now and forever, a protector for those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with oceans to cross, a bridge for those with rivers to cross, a sanctuary for those in danger, a lamp for those without light, a place of refuge for those who lack shelter, and a servant to all in need. And just being that helper to be of benefit to all beings, I that is why I'm here. And I've taken the Bodhisattva vows. It's something that you can do again and again and again. I think I've formally taken them 4 times. And just that idea, for those of you who might not know what a Bodhisattva is, it's an awakening being. Sattva is being, Bodhi is the act of awakening. And it's somebody who wants to help everybody. And in some traditions, they believe that after we pass away, we go into another realm or to another in another life. I don't know if I believe that completely, but with the idea of a bodhisattva, they have the option to get out of the world of suffering, to get out, but they decide to come back to the earth and to help other people get out. And it's like a firefighter or an EMS, somebody that it just keeps going back into the burning house and pulling people out and then goes back in. And like that just is something that takes a lot, and it's a huge endeavor, but we need bodhisattvas. And I really thought taking on that vow was something I wanted to do. And so fast forward, going into the Dharma teacher intern program. That was back in 2020. I wanted to be a Dharma teacher. I can't remember how long. I think when I was taking the precepts, I was asking about, hey, how do I become a teacher? How do I get up on the podium and have a talk? And it wasn't really just for like, I just wanted to share the Dharma and learning about the Dharma and reading all the scriptures. We have so many different sutras. One of my favorites was the Lotus Sutra, and that talked about one of the main subjects was how we are all Buddha. We are all awakened within, and in this sense, it's like we are inherently good. We're inherently golden, and pure, but our delusions, our anger, our ignorance, greed, all the kleshas, all the poisons, kind of cover it up. So I thought that idea was better than the idea I've always been told, that I was a sinner, that I was evil at nature, and that I had to repent. But I think the reverse of that I am golden, that I am a good person, but I just have a bunch of mud and crap built over it. So that's why the lotus is the uh, image for enlightenment, because they grow in the mud, and then as they come out as a beautiful flower, pure, and that's why you see so many lotuses in Buddhism. Another teaching that really resonated with me was how the Buddha taught. So there's the Bible that most people are familiar with, but in Buddhism we have hundreds of sutras, maybe thousands. There's so many different teachings, and some of them are contradictory, which can be a little confusing when you first start learning about Buddhism. But the Buddha taught appropriately. He met people where they were at. So he gave, for a carpenter, and each teaching is named after the person that he's teaching. So if he's talking to a carpenter, he's going to give examples of carpentry, how to build a house, how our body is like a house, and things like that. But to a fisherman, he would give examples of how we are like fish or something like that. And every time the Buddha would teach, he would teach skillful means and work in a way where people could understand it. And I always thought that was like something that I wanted to learn, and how to adapt myself, because everyone's different. We all have different paths that we take, different backgrounds, upbringings. So not one way doesn't fit for everybody. So I think of Buddhism and my practice as a giant toolbox. And I have a bunch of tools that I use, and there's some that I don't use and I don't really need. And that can be like for anybody else coming to the practice. So that is a huge thing. There's another reading I'd like to share from Thich Nhat Hanh, and this comes from the book, The Heart of the Buddhist Teachings. This is one of the books that we have for the preceptors to read. But this one kind of goes in the idea of that we are all Buddhas at heart. The heart of the Buddha is in each one of us. We are mindful the Buddha is there. I know a 4-year-old boy who, whenever he is upset, stops what he's doing, breathes mindfully, and tells his mommy and daddy, I am touching the Buddha within. We need to take care of our healthy seeds that are in us by watering them every day through the practice of mindful breathing, mindful walking, mindfully doing everything. We need to touch the Buddha within us. We need to enter our own heart, which means to enter the heart of the Buddha. To enter the heart of the Buddha means to be present for ourselves, our suffering, our joys, and for many others. To enter the heart of the Buddha means to touch the world of no birth and no death, the world where water and wave are one. So Thich Nhat Hanh has a really beautiful way of writing. And the fact that English was a second language is pretty incredible. But there's a lot of, if I had to recommend any books, they would probably be by Thich Nhat Hanh, if you're first coming to Buddhism. And to kind of wrap things up, going from just a brand new person here, and then becoming a family with the Sangha. There's been so many Sangha members throughout my time here that when I didn't have a house, I didn't have a place to go, I lived with them, and they gave me a place to live. And I am always grateful for that. Grateful for the recovery meetings here. It's interesting too. I came to that as like a new person, and now I run the recovery meetings here on Mondays, which looking back is like, wow, it's like I've come so far. But it's like you're on this path. I feel like I'm always growing. There's always something. It's like, oh, I've achieved enlightenment, or I've achieved something, and now I can just be in that. No, it is a process, always going. And sometimes I backslide, but every time I fall, I try to get myself back up. And I appreciate people who are there to help me up, because we need that, especially in this day and age. That's why the three jewels of the Buddha, our teacher, the Dharma, are the teachings, and the Sangha, our community of practitioners. Those are all so important. Coming together every Sunday, meeting outside of Sunday service or afterwards, going to the downtown market or having tea downstairs, and just talking and sharing our life and sharing our joys and our concerns. These are practices that really help strengthen the community and help strengthen ourselves. I don't know where I'd be without this community and this practice. I'm so grateful to have this in my life today. Going through like meditation, just the act of just sitting and being silent, where in a world where we're just go, try to get to the next thing. A lot of times I've had this excuse myself, or I don't have time to meditate, but I have time to scroll on my phone or do anything else. But I can really just sit here for 3-5 minutes and just breathe mindfully, and maybe increase that every day. But having that practice gives that space. I was I still have emotions and I still get angry, but now I have space and I can feel that arising, where before I would just react. Now it's more of a response, which is very powerful. So coming in after precepts, bodhisattva commitments, and then I was finally ordained in 2022 by Hung Su, and then have become a reverend teaching Dharma teacher, so I can give talks, but I'm not at the point of being able to have any students. That comes with more training and come down the line. But I realize in this practice, there's no rushing. You can't just like try to check all the boxes and get through it. It's a mindful ease kind of situation. And going through that, taking on a meditation course, becoming a certified meditation teacher, in between through Dharma Moon and Tibet House, just doing all these different learning modalities, trying to bring more to the Sangha, bring more to this temple. And I really appreciate being able to give talks and to share the teachings of the Buddha, because they have helped me, and I hope they can help all of you as well. And for my last teaching, I would like to give brief meditation instructions, because we're all going to sit for meditation. So if you're sitting on a chair, I recommend having your feet flat on the ground. And then you want to have your back straight. You want to be upright, but not uptight. So strong back, soft belly. And I like to kind of give myself a stretch, especially if we've been sitting here for a while. Kind of put your arms over. And you can either put your hands on your knees or on your lap. And if you're sitting on the ground, if there's an extra cushion next to you that nobody is using, I suggest putting one underneath your knee if your knees are too high. You can put your legs in front of each other like this, or a quarter lotus or a half lotus. I don't know if anyone can get full lotus. I know I can't. But that position is very stable, and so is you can sit on your knees. If you look over here, Sasha is sitting in Seiza. Sorry to give you, but that's the only person I see sitting like that. Or however you feel. And as we sit here, the goal again is not to empty your mind. You're not trying to go off. You're wanting to be present. And every time you have a thought or think about breakfast or anything, just come back to your breath. Label it thinking, or label it. Sometimes people have a hard time labeling their thoughts. You can label the sounds around you. You can hear the AC turning on or a motorcycle going by, or when the AC turns off, you can hear the ticking of the clock. Or next door, they're making espresso all the time. Whatever it is, this is awareness practice, and we have our eyes open for that. If you feel comfortable having your eyes open, but it's a very soft gaze, about 4 to 6 feet in front of you. And as we sit here, I will mind the time. I will begin and end with the 3 strikes of the bell. This time, I'd like to invite everyone to share joys or concerns they have. Part of our practice is the four abodes or the four measurables, which are joy, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. So the sympathetic joy, empathetic joy, sharing the joys of others, and hold the concerns of others as well in balance. Anybody?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Yang Su. Yesterday I was on my way to do a wedding, and all of a sudden my eyesight in my right eye really got blurry. I went to the ER. They did a number of tests. I couldn't even see the big E. So I'm seeing a specialist Monday morning first thing, and we'll see what happens. Old age sickness and death. Oh, yeah. So anyway, yeah, appreciate your thoughts and concerns, and it's what life is. It is. Life isn't all about the negative stuff. It's about a little bit of humor, like that, right? So, yeah, some serious things, but don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah. Thank you, Yang Su.
Hi, everybody. My name's B. I wanted to share a really big joy. This past weekend, my partner Ivy, my friend James, and 5 of our other closest friends, it's been the past 3 to 4 months. We organize a yearly festival in the city that's a benefit festival. And this year it was to help a family fleeing Palestine. And we raised a really significant amount of money for something that essentially amounts to an all-day house show. So I'm just really feeling a lot of joy for my friends, community of people that came out, all the volunteers. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm Ivy. I also just wanted to echo that joy, since it was something that B and I and James and all of our friends and all the bands who volunteered their time to come play have been planning for months. And it was a day that was so beautiful and full of hope, in the wake of kind of a bleak year when it comes to that cause. And now that it's over, I think we can all breathe a big sigh of relief at how well it went. And I'm also just really happy to be back at Temple, since it's kind of occupied a lot of our time and we haven't been able to come out here. So I'm happy to see you all today.
I'm Max, also known as Sadarupo. A few of us are going to go down to the downtown market for breakfast after Temple. You're welcome to come and join if you'd like. Just wanted to say that.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan. It's my first time in a few years since I've been here. I kind of come here intermittently. I'd like to make it more of a weekly habit, but sometimes, life happens. And yeah, I got a new job recently. I'm about to start my 5th week at it, and I'm happy to be working, but I do struggle a lot with anxiety. And sometimes I'm very anxious before I go in. And sometimes, even coming here, sometimes I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to come, Anyway, so that's one of my joys, is that I'm working again, and so I guess that's it.
It's good to hear. Nice to see you back. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Just so grateful to be here. So grateful to be here. Um, so I've been suffering from, I've had illness these last 2 years, some serious illness, and recovering. And so I was feeling fine. So the other day I started to have a pain on my right side, out of the blue. And I thought, what the heck is that? So it got me so worried. And then for 2 days, I slept in bed doing nothing, watching TV. And then I just had soup. I just drank soup, soup, and soup. Okay, my weight went down a little bit. That made me happy, I guess. Uh, and then um, and then I started to feel better. The pain started to diminish. And then suddenly looked around and I thought, everything looks so nice. And I saw all the dust in my apartment. So I thought, I should just clean this apartment maybe. So I got up, and yesterday whole day I cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. And my apartment is looking so clean this morning. I got up, I felt so positive. I put on my shoes and I came here. So yeah, so life is like this, up and down and up and down. One moment up, the next moment down. We are in a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
Up and down, up and down. And so we are like a ping pong ball, you know. So in Buddhism, we say, train the mind, right? It's all about mental training. Tame and train the mind, right? And so when we are able to do that, everything becomes more manageable, let's just say. You can't control everything in life, but it becomes more manageable, right? And so this is life. Tame and train the mind, right? We all have our difficulties in life, every single one of us. And then we all know what's happening in Gaza, right? The Palestinians, the Israelis, and so much of pain, Ukraine war, right? So I look at that and I look at our pain, or my pain, I should say, and I feel maybe this is a pain of comfortable people having pain, right? And look at that real pain, no food, no water, death and destruction everywhere. Moment to moment, they're fleeing and fleeing in Gaza, and they don't know where they're going, right? One moment it's a blast here, next moment it's a blast there. I mean, that is real pain, right? So you contrast that pain and you look at your own pain and you think, my God, my life is so comfortable. It's so comfortable. I have nothing but gratefulness. Nothing but gratefulness. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excuse me, earlier this week, I had the pleasure of going and listening to Nathan's band. Nathan, it was incredible. You're very talented. Thank you for that. A voice of an angel. I don't know if the angel is the right word, but just an incredible voice.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name's Heather. This is my first time at this service. I've been to the temple once before for the recovery meeting. So I'm just so grateful to see Shane and all of you beautiful people. He's a friend of mine. And this week, so last Saturday, my mom passed away. And it's been really hard, but I'm just so grateful. I'm also a person in recovery, and I got through this week sober, and I was present and just like feeling all the emotions. So I'm grateful to find another community of humans to be there to support each other. And yeah, it's a really beautiful place. I'm really grateful to be here today.
Glad to see you. You have anything online? Well, as much as I'd love for everyone to share, we have to get to the announcements, the temple announcements. I will start with October announcements. We have an online meditation that meets every Wednesday via Zoom from 6 to 6:45 p.m. You can contact Venerable Kunga or look at the newsletter for information. We got our Dharma discussion group back Thursday mornings from 9:30 to 11 at the temple. And you can contact Reverend Jingsu Ryan Duffield or see the newsletter or the website for more details. Our Avitam Saka study group meets every other Thursday The next meeting will be on October 17th. We are up in the air whether we're going to keep it at the temple, but we have been meeting via online, so we will get some more information on that and make sure we update the newsletter. And you can contact either William or myself. And then we also have the board meeting today. Every third Sunday. Okay, every third Sunday. So this is the third Sunday, October 13th. 11:30 is the meeting. It's an open meeting. Anyone can join, and that goes from 11:30 to 1 p.m. And that'll be downstairs in the temple community room. We have our fall silent retreat coming up Saturday, October 26th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Meets here at the temple, and registration ends Friday, October 25th. We have our Ulumbana Day potluck Sunday, October 27th. Following the service, please join us for a potluck reception to celebrate Ulumbana Day, kind of like the Buddhist Halloween, but not exactly. But anyways, please bring a dessert or snack that serves 7 people. Consider listing the ingredients for those with food preferences, allergies, or sensitivities. And then the last thing I'd like to share is the Buddhist-based recovery meetings. We have Mondays here at the temple from 6:30 to 7 is our meditation period. And then 7 p.m. we have a meeting that lasts until 8. And then Wednesdays, we meet at the Alano Club, North Club on College. Same time, 6:30, and the meeting is at 7. And then Friday mornings, we meet here at 10:05 a.m., and the meeting is at 10:30 till 11:30. For more information, you can visit zengr.org or subscribe to our weekly newsletter. Do I have a Dana announcement? If we don't have a Dana announcement, I will give the Dana announcement. So we are completely volunteer based. Nobody here gets a salary. I don't get paid. Nobody who cleans gets paid. So everything is volunteer based, and from the greeters to the incense lighters. So we just ask for anything that you are able to provide monetarily. We have Dana boxes on either side with a QR code that you can scan, and it brings you right to PayPal. There's a link on YouTube that you can click on. And also, we don't just need money. We also need tea or toilet paper. I think we need paper towel right now. I've noticed I don't see any paper towel. So you can ask. I don't see Nikki here today, but usually she comes and she would have a list of the things that we need. So, and your time is also welcome, coming in early, helping clean and everything like that. So those are a few volunteer opportunities that we have. All right, we will stand and do our closing gathas, which I want to say are on page 6 of our new chant book. What do we say? For all unskillful action ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddhist teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Endless blind passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates without number, I vow to enter. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain. I like to vow to split halfway and vow to each other. Thank you, everyone. Someone will come around to collect the chant books. You're welcome to tea downstairs. Just keep in mind we have a meeting at 11:30, so I might have to cut it a little short, but please join us.